Ten.
Stand by to take studio.
7, 6.
Stand by camera 1, mics 1 and 2.
3, 2, 1.
Take studio.
Hello and welcome to the 400th episode of MCTV News. I'm your host, Matthias Kidd.
And I'm Dylan Weiss. In today's episode, Chorney brings us a piece on the recent changes to the construction lab. Elliott shines from light on the Legal School Library. Chvojka brings us a piece on the St. Kateri Hockey Academy. Campeau brings us a look at the school's outdoor Ed 9 class. Thompson sits down with new MCHS teacher, Miss Elsa Amaya, and my co-host will be joined by MCTV instructor Greg Boutestein to talk about MCTV's big podcast this afternoon. But first, here's our top story.
On February 22nd, MCHS held Pink Shirt Day. This day is incredibly important to stand up and spread awareness about the issue of bullying. MCTV reporter Cory was there and brings us this story.
Pink Shirt Day is a day with the intention to raise awareness and reduce bullying in schools. This day, also known as Anti-Bullying Day, celebrates everyone's differences, encouraging everyone to be themselves and to be inclusive of all other people.
Pink Shirt Day is a day of awareness against bullying, essentially.
Pink Shirt Day is a day that I get to raise awareness for anti-bullying. As someone who has been bullied, it's a day that's super special to me because I can spread awareness for a good cause just by wearing a piece of clothing.
It started in 2007 when a boy in grade 9 wore a pink shirt to school when other students started making fun of him. Some brave classmates noticed and started wearing pink shirts to stand up for him. Teachers and others quickly noticed, and it has inspired many others to participate.
I think it's important because nobody is unaffected by it. At some point in everyone's life, there's going to be a moment that they're being hurt, they're being bullied, they're being put in a place they don't want to be.
I think everyone should participate because, I believe everyone should be treated the same. I don't think anyone should be treated poorly.
Although Anti-Bullying Day is widely recognized, it is not the only day that people are harassed. It is a constant issue for many students on a day-to-day basis. While wearing a pink shirt can be helpful, it is important to help the cause all year round.
It's really important that people call people out when they're bullying, not just on Pink Shirt Day, but every other day of the school year. Because if we don't hold each other accountable, then we're not going to find any success in any anti-bullying campaign.
If you see someone being harassed or some sort, it looks like they're having a rough day, you could just easily help them, go stand up and ask them if they're all right.
Bullying is an issue for many and can affect people's lives for a long time. It is our responsibility to stand up for those being harassed whenever we can. Standing up for people can help change their lives for the better. For MCTV News, Cory reporting.
Once we hit March, we can usually expect to see warmer weathers as we get closer to the beginning of spring. However, this has not been the case. MCTV meteorologist Luke Robinson has been here to tell us if we should take off our coats or if they're going to stay on for just a little bit longer.
Thanks, Dylan. So up in Whitehorse, we have a +3 with quite a bit of snow. We've got a -10 with light flurries and Yellowknife. Quite a bit of snow in Elliott with -14. We've got a +10 with a lot of sun in Vancouver. A -7 with light flurries down in Regina. -9 with some clouds, not a lot, in Winnipeg. And in Toronto, we have a +7 with a little bit of clouds. Over in Montreal, we have a +4 with with a lot of clouds. Over in Halifax, we have quite a bit of snow with a +2. And in St. John's, we've got a rain-snow mix with a +1. What's Alberta's weather, though? So up in high level, we have a -2 with a sun and cloud with a little bit of snow. We have -1 with a little bit of snow in Fort Mac. We've got +4 with quite a bit of sun in Grand Prairie. We've got a lot of sun and +4 again in Edmonton. We've got Red Deer with a +1 and a lot of sun. And in Jasper, we've got a +4 with quite a bit of sun. Banff, we've got lots of sunlight with +1. Calgary with a +1 and again a lot of sunlight. Medicine Hat, we've got 0 degrees with some clouds but not a lot. What's the today's forecast? So right now we've got current conditions, it's +1, with quite a bit of sun, and the wind is going west with 13 kilometers an hour. Relative humidity is 63%. Sunrise was at 7:47 a.m. and sunset will be at 7:40 p.m. What's the weekly forecast? Friday, we have lots of sun and with +2 as high and a -11 as low. Saturday, we've got a little bit of clouds. Sunday, we've got quite a bit of clouds with some sun. Monday, we've got a little bit of clouds, some sun. Tuesday, lots of clouds. Wednesday, lots of clouds. And Thursday, lots of clouds. Back to you, Dylan.
Thanks, Luke. With the recent CTS area renovations being completed earlier this year, a plethora of changes have come to the several of the classrooms inside and adjacent to it. Reporter Aidan Chorney had a chance to sit down with construction teacher Kyle Coxon to see what's new in the construction lab.
At the start of semester 2, I went down to the construction lab to see if any changes have been made to the course and any of the difficulties of running a construction lab.
Yeah, I always try to tweak the curriculum. I try to do that every semester or maybe even every year. Some changes this year is my grade 11, my construction 20 students. Their first project is always a little small box, and I'm just changing up the box that we're going to do this year. So I'm small little design tweaks to hopefully make a really good looking project and still get them the skills that they need.
Is there any changes you'd like to make to the room?
To the room itself is always a work in progress too. What I'm trying to do now is I've organized my hand tool wall, and now I'm trying to put my portable power tools on that wall as well. So hopefully I can get to some of those this semester, and I guess we'll see how far. I would love to add, there's a tool out there, you guys can Google this, it's called a multi-router. I would love to have a multi-router in the shop. And our CNC, it's actually got all the plumbing to have a vacuum table, but what I need to do is I need to buy a vacuum pump so that the vacuum will actually work on there. So that's another dream as well for the shop.
What are the difficulties of running a construction lab?
Main problems? It's the dust. It's always the dust. The dust is everywhere. Working in the construction lab, difficulties is it's always cleanup. Cleanup's always a struggle every year, training the students to help me to do that properly. Another big problem we get in the shop every year is just making sure we've got the material when the students are ready for it. So going and ordering the lumber and picking it up to make sure that it's here on time so that we can start the projects.
This is Aidan Chorney for MCTV News reporting.
Here are the school announcements for Thursday, March 16th. Do you want to bike from Lake Louise to Jasper? If so, then the bike trip is for you. There will be a lunch meeting in the studio regarding the trip on Wednesday, March 22nd. For more information, contact Mr. Boutestein. Attention grade 11 girls. Weiss is a 6-week paid program, summer research program internship at the University of Alberta. Students must have at least an 85% average to be considered. See Ms. Christensen for more information. If you're looking for hands-on work opportunities, then the RAP program is definitely for you. Dow, Shell, and Share are looking for students who are interested in a career in electrical instrumentation, millwright, steam fitting, or pipe fitting. Application deadline is early May. See Mr. Lassard for more information. During the Lent season, Ms. Rochopo will be holding the Stations of the Cross. If you're interested in participating, head down to the Fashions Room at lunch on Fridays. For these and all other school information, keep connected by listening in on daily announcements, logging on to the school's website at www.mchs.gsacred.ab.ca, or by following the school on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. As well, to be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel by searching MCTV Morinville.
In this day and age, with all the talk of getting digital information so easily, many of us often forget about the value of getting it from physical outlets. Reporter Elliott headed to the Legal School Library to show us the importance of the services it provides to students there.
With the spike of technological advancements and making technology more accessible to almost everyone, reading as a recreational activity in adolescence has dropped to the lowest levels since the 1980s. Legal School librarian Kimberly Elliott shines a light on how librarians are trying to encourage students to read in this age where technology and distractions are ubiquitous.
Well, thanks to a lot of the school closures, we had a drop in circulation because we had a lot of students that were not physically in the building and couldn't come to the library. So our circulation statistics dropped quite a bit during that time. Circulation statistics are how we measure how often the books are going out and how popular they are versus the ones that are cold. And if it's a cold item, it means that the book or the media is not being used. Overall, even our hot items are going out less than they were prior to 2020.
Though circulation of books is low in the library currently, and libraries are becoming less relevant in schools, Kimberly explains how important libraries actually are.
Libraries are still relevant to the education system because it teaches proper research if you come in and engage with the items in our shelves and in our collections, helping us to develop a better collection for what we need for you. If students don't come in, they lose the ability to develop reading comprehension skills and a lot of critical thinking skills that come with reading research and deciding what makes sense and what is proven with science or what have you. Libraries are important for that. It also helps to expand your horizons with books. There's lots of stories out there that can make you feel like you belong and give you information that you would be too afraid to look for otherwise. These are all in the library.
Though the number of visitors in the library are decreasing by the day, Kimberly hopes with her efforts that Legal School Library will once again flourish. This is Danica Elliott reporting for MCTV News.
Welcome back. Here with all the latest in the world of sports, including the night's scores in the NHL, NBA, and MLB, is our very own William Campeau.
Thanks, Dylan. In a relatively quiet night in the NHL, Colorado edged Toronto in a 2-1 shootout victory. Ovechkin scored his 37th goal of the season to help the Capitals beat the Sabres 5-4. Minnesota bested St. Louis 8-5 in a wild affair that saw goalies Fleury and Binnington dropping the gloves, and the New York Islanders doubled the Anaheim Ducks 6-3. Turning to the NBA, Miami was too hot for Memphis, winning 138-119. The 76ers beat the Cavs 118-109. The Celtics edged the Timberwolves 104-102. Sacramento handed Chicago another defeat, 117-114. And the Mavericks and the Spurs had to settle things in overtime, with Dallas winning 137-126. In the MLB spring training, the Jays took down the Pirates 7-1. Philly beat the Yankees in a close 9-8 game. Boston beat the Rays 9-1. The Astros beat the Braves 9-3, and the Cardinals beat the Mets 4-1. Turning to MCHS sports. This weekend, the MCHS senior girls basketball team placed third at North Central 3A basketball zones, while the senior boys placed first and have advanced to the provincials in Wetaskiwin this week. St. Kateri has been given the opportunity of a new sports academy. One of those sports is hockey. Reporter Sophia Chvojka takes us to see how these kids are staying active with school.
The Hockey Academy at St. Kateri Elementary School in Morinville is a great way for students who love hockey to start the day.
Yeah, it's really nice because you get to school and you have instead of having a burst of energy, you usually just you feel like you're in the morning.
I'm missing a little bit of school in the morning and just getting to play some hockey with my friends that I'm not on a team with.
I hear a lot of feedback from parents about how much their kids enjoy coming to school now, how some of their grades have improved, and even things like lowered anxiety, and kids are able to do what they love during the school day, which is the most important thing.
Students in this class get the chance to practice their skills and enjoy the ice at the MLC twice a week.
Hockey Academy is a year-round course that these students take where we're predominantly on ice from September to March. We work on hockey skills.
Skate and shoot pucks and see how much we improve at the end of the year.
We work on our skills, our edges, sometimes do stamina, and a lot on our shooting.
Sometimes we have scrimmages at the end, and we just, it's just trying to get your development up and have fun.
For many kids, doing what they love is an important part of learning. Hockey Academy gives them this opportunity.
I love hockey. I just love being here, and it's a great way to start off the day.
I love hockey. It's kind of been a dream job for me that I get to come out here and do what I love.
My dream is to make the NHL. It's going to be really hard, and I think I will next year too, more definitely. So
I love it. We get to do lots of stuff that we don't really get to do in hockey, and it helps us get better in hockey.
The St. Kateri Hockey Academy helps build skills and builds a community between the students. For MCTV News, Sophia Chvojka reporting.
Today marks our 400th episode here at MCTV News. The studio and class has overcome many changes and challenges. Here to walk us through what MCTV has been like over the years is MCTV head honcho, Mr. Greg Boutestein. So hi, Mr. Boutestein, welcome to the studio.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Matthias. I really appreciate it.
Of course. So my first question for you is, how has MCTV changed over the years?
Well, it's a little different now when you look at this set that we're on right now, this really big set that we're on. It wasn't like this always. We started off with 2 swivel chairs and an AV cart with a television in between our 2 hosts, if you ever go back and watch the early episodes. But there's been a lot of changes. We've certainly... it's become more of a news feel to the show. The earlier shows were, I think, more a lot of ad-libbing going on. I kind of call those the Old West, the Wild West days. But yeah, I think the show has really become very polished over the last almost 30 years of broadcasting.
Okay. What made you want to teach MCTV?
Well, I didn't kind of walk out of university thinking I was going to get a gig like this. I worked in television before I got my education degree. I worked at ITV, which is now Global Edmonton. Back then it was called ITV. And I worked there on and off for about 6 years. And then I got my education degree, and I was actually wanting to be a science teacher, but thinking maybe one day I'd kind of run into a little video program or whatever. And then I was very lucky that there was someone in Morinville that knew about me. And they kind of hired me right out of university, and I've been here ever since. So very fortunate in that respect.
What has your favorite memory been in the studio?
I don't think there's a famous. There's a ton of memories. I mean, I've worked with hundreds of students over the years, and there's been. We could spend an entire afternoon talking about different stories in the studio, but to me, it's just the interactions with the kids and the spontaneity of the situation where we're putting not just me as a staff member, but kids in a situation where it's not like your traditional classroom. It feels more like a work vibe, and it's not. And I don't think kids walk in here feeling like it's a classroom at all. And I think that kind of allows everyone to kind of let their guard down a little bit. And we have some really, really cool interactions over the years. But there have been some fun ones over the years, and there's been some heated conversations over the years. But they've always been resolved in a friendly manner. But you'd have to talk to some of the graduates about that. That's for sure.
How do you feel this class impacts students?
I mean, obviously, kids that are taking it, I mean, not every kid who takes this program is going to get into broadcast television, and I understand that. And broadcast TV is not for everybody. But I think that every kid who comes out of here is learning a life skill about being a savvy consumer of media. They understand how you put a report together, and what to look for is, we're all consumers of news, right? So students that come out of here, I think, understand how news is put together, and they can maybe spot fake news, if I can use that term, now maybe better than people who aren't taking this course. But I think the most important thing about this class is when kids take it, they understand how to work as a team, and that will apply to any job that they're going to get into in the future. So regardless if you're going to get into science or you're going to get into, you're going to be a pipe fitter, it doesn't matter what you're going to be. Hopefully you can take some of the lessons you learned about team building and working as a team on the job site from this class into your future career.
What is so different about students learning in the studio?
Well, I mean, look around. I mean, it isn't rows of desks. There isn't like a big blackboard at the front of the room. I mean, what's the front of this room? I don't think anyone could even identify what. I mean, I guess this is the front of the room because this is where the set is, right? But this doesn't look like your traditional classroom. Kids have the ability to be free in this room. They can move around. There are very few classes where you basically have the ability to come and go as you please, and MCTV is that class. And I think a lot of kids, when they walk in here, they don't understand that. It's like, what do you mean I can come and go as I please? But you got to go where the news is, right? So I can't just leave people in this room and say, well, the news is going to come to us. Kids have to be able to be free and be able to move around, and sometimes that even takes them off school property. They might head to downtown for an interview at City Hall or at the town hall. So I think in that respect, that alone makes it probably the most unique course in the building, for sure.
And my final question for you is what goals have you achieved in the studio over the years?
Well, I mean, we're on episode 400, so I mean, we've I think have achieved a lot of goals over the years to get to this lofty number of broadcasts, and I think we have a lot more broadcasts left to go. I don't think this is the end by any means, but I'm just very pleased that I see kids that come back every year that really enjoy the class, they really enjoy the program. It's always wonderful to see that our former graduates are in the industry. When you turn on the radio and there's a former MCTV host on the radio, or you turn on the television, or you're on the internet and you see a report from on Global News from a former MCTV. It's always wonderful to be able to see what those graduates have gone on to do, regardless if it's television or film or TV or radio or animation. I hope that this was part of that process for them, and that they've got very fond memories of taking the program when they were here in high school.
Okay, well, thank you for your time. And with that, now that Mr. Boutestein has blessed us with his presence, we now take a look at the Outdoor Ed 9 class. This class teaches students basic survival tips to learn how to start a fire from knots. Reporter Will Campeau takes us through the class.
MCHS has many option courses, one of which is Outdoor Ed 9, which teaches students an introduction to survival.
In Outdoor Ed 9, it's pretty varied. We go through a lot of different things. Some of the big ones are, we talk about survival and what are some of the dangers that can happen when you are outside and you do need to survive. We actually get into knot tying. We're supposed to tie knots this year. So I'm going to teach them a lot of different types. Another big one is if you take Outdoor Ed 9, you have to be able to light a fire on your own. So we will be lighting fires this year. And all this stuff kind of works together to build up to, we're going to do an Outdoor Ed trip this year.
There are also many enjoyable aspects in Outdoor Ed 9 for both students and teachers.
What I like about Outdoor Ed 9 is even though we do have the traditional classroom setting, we come in and learn and do projects, what I also like about it is we get to go outside and practice those skills in the real world.
Outdoor Ed 9 is pretty good, it's chill, get to go outside, learn stuff, learn knots, learn survival ethics, it's not too bad.
Outdoor Ed 9 is a great class if you want to be outside more and you want to stay active, and it's just a great class. It's mixed. You get to go inside some days when it's cold, and you get to be outside playing frisbee.
With Outdoor Ed 9 being an introductory course, some students would enjoy taking a more advanced Outdoor Ed in the future.
Yes, I would take Outdoor Ed again because it's a great class. Hey, how you doing, Matt?
Everyone do that one again.
Have it again next year.
Probably not. There's a lot of different options I can do, and it's doing this to fill up the gap this year. Next year, probably have more things. I'll be busy. So.
For information on Outdoor Ed 9, go to Student Services and talk to Miss Christensen. For MCTV News, Will Campeau reporting.
With a wide range of new staff members joining us this year at MCHS, some students may find it difficult to get to know them all. To assist the MCHS student body, reporter Avery Thompson put together an expose on Miss Amaya to get to know her better.
Over the years, MCHS has had a long history of hosting student teachers. One of these student teachers turned full-time staff members was Miss Amaya.
When you are a student teacher, you don't want to change a lot of the things that your mentor does because it disrupts. As a teacher, you have a lot more say in what you do.
Her dreams of becoming a teacher stemmed from a desire to help students feel comfortable and be the source of comfort her teachers were for her as a child.
I am not from here, and when I moved here, I was 14, so I didn't know how to speak English, and it was really hard. It was a hard transition, but I had amazing teachers.
It seems that teaching runs in the family, as another source of inspiration for Mrs. Amaya was her mom.
She's an English teacher back home in Colombia, so I grew up helping her with lesson plans and decorating her room, and it was also something that I wanted to be like my mom.
Students found that Miss Amaya's friendly smile and love of teaching helped them understand and digest their knowledge easier.
Her information and her notes are super organized and really easy to understand.
Colleagues and mentors alike found Miss Amaya's love for her students and passion for teaching two vital characteristics that make her an amazing educator.
She knows the students individually so that she plans her lessons for each student so that they get the best out of her, and she can get the best out of them.
The thing I love about Miss Amaya is she always has questions. She can come into a room, she can figure out what style of teacher she needs to be, and then she rolls with it.
Though she's only been working here a short while, Miss Amaya undoubtedly makes MCHS a better place.
Miss Amaya is absolutely one of the best teachers I've ever worked with.
Miss Amaya is pretty amazing to work with.
Describe Miss Amaya in one word.
Approachable. Fan-freaking-tastic.
Awesome.
For MCTV News, Avery Thompson reporting.
And that's it for another episode of MCTV News. Join us again next week on the 23rd, where we will bring you a piece on the Canada Winter Games, Senior Boys Wolves basketball, Legally Blonde, the cheer team's performance at the pep rally, the new renovations on the Cosmo Lab, and our school's art program, as well as your weekly weather recap and sports recap. So Dylan, how do you feel about being part of the 400th episode here?
I think it's pretty nice. I mean, it's such an incredible show. I mean, 400 episodes is quite a bit. I mean, 20 years I'd assume it would take to get to this point. Maybe even more, maybe a little less.
Yeah, it's a great achievement, for the studio and to be part of the legacy. I think it's I feel very honored.
Yeah, especially as hosts.
From all of us at MCTV News, I'm your host, Matthias Kidd. You stay classy, MCHS.
And I'm Dylan Weiss. Thanks for tuning in.